Dun, 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 dun.
So I'm looking at this in the context of 2021. If there's anything that we learned during 2020, which this movie released in that time frame, it's that people might have got the chance to get too much of each other. I mean, because you're literally thinking about this. Well, we shut down. Let's see, how many people didn't have to go to work, and how many people didn't do what they normally did, so they were stuck at home. So that means a lot of couples that maybe were freshly married or married for years got to spend a lot of time with one another. Well, not married couples, but spouses. You probably saw a lot, more so than they're like, this is getting old really fast. Well, these two younglings have an opportunity to do such a thing. They are going to have quite the journey, it seems. Now, it sounds interesting. Will it be a honeymoon or will it not? At least the suggestion may be that, well, I mean, it's surrounding it, the honeymoon phase. It's entailing like a honeymoon sort of experience. But again, how does this result? Let's take a look at the synopsis. You'll get a little more context to what this film is about. This is according to IMDb. Struggling young lovers, Tom and Eve, must endure a 30-day scientific experiment. Room, board, $50,000, and a month alone together in research facility housing. What could possibly go wrong? Whenever a synopsis ends like that, you're like, okay, something's about to happen. And this is a horror sci-fi thriller movie. So, of course, something's going to go wrong. Maybe because you've got people locked up in a scientific facility, or you basically say you've got lab rats. Sorry, no disrespect to these people, but it's like, okay, you've got them locked up like mice that you're steadying, essentially. And you're giving them like, okay, you can get 50. Well, actually, you're getting $50,000. That's a lot of money. Would you take it? Right? Where's the fine print? That should be the question. Like, what could this result in? Right? Because you're saying like, what could possibly go wrong? Let's see. Now, I did see again the idea to the movie sounds very interesting. I did happen to see one thumbnail I was passing by when I was looking up the videos for YouTube trying to figure out if there was like multiple trailers. There's only one, but it looked like it was going to get kind of graphic in parts. So in terms of the romantic side to the story, and the fact they're being steadied, there might be some scenes that I'm going to have to fast forward through. We'll see. I hope the trailer's not too graphic. I really hope it's not. I hope what I saw was something different, but I don't think it was. No, it wasn't, I don't think it was a trailer. I think it was a review. But it looked like I'll be fast-forwarding parts if I do choose to watch this. But let's give the trailer a watch. Again, the premise is interesting. And again, it does kind of remind you of 2020. What if fitting release? Everybody got locked up together. So, did you have fun over how... Well, you didn't get a month and you get $50,000. You just had lots more time. You can say you conducted your own scientific experiment, or no, science is really conducted on you because you were locked up in your house with nothing to do. Well, I know for some people, I don't want to say this respectfully, I'm trying to put a humorous spin on it, of course, but I understand, that experience, because I was reading a couple of headlines, and I've heard from several people that because of, the lockdowns and all that domestic abuse rate shot right up. And if that's true, but that's bad. I mean, in certain situations, you do have that escape if you have a job or something like that, to get to that kept you out of that environment. But if that is the case, I don't mean to delegitimize that or make anything humorous anyway that when it's not. But I'm saying, like, in the premise of the story, if that isn't the case, people probably got enough of it. But if you're in a situation like that where, as the headlines were saying, the domestic abuse rate shot up, I hope you're able to find some sort of relief. I would go to somebody in that case, but I can tell you, these gist wise, this might not. Again, we had several months of this, so we don't have 1 month. So these two kids are lucky, right? And it seems they might be in love. I don't think any of that's at play, but this could get quite bad. Let's take a look and see how this is. The honeymoon phase. So we're gonna watch this first. And we're gonna talk about it more in my condensed review sample watching the video together. Okay, let's take a look. Here we go. Anytime you start the trailer in front of a grave, that's never a good sign.
The Millennium Project
What an interesting music choice,
couples
though.
to participate in a 30-day research study. Payment $50,000.
We don't even know what this
We
is.
can get rich
I can assure you we're
by locking ourselves in a scientific
I
facility.
must confess, got a little obsessed with love. I hope
Why
you all
are we
enjoy your stay
studying?
here.
Or like, what's the subject of the study here, I should say? Well, that's a pretty house, though.
Welcome to orientation. I'm your handler. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm your
These
handler?
headsets will record your brainwaves as we discuss your experiences over the next month.
That's a
Hopefully
bit
leading us to
invasive.
uncover the truth behind the honeymoon phase.
I love
Don't trust Tom.
Yeah, it might get be a bit too much.
Hello?
And the fact that the cameras are actually sitting there spying on people, that's really
He's not the man
creepy.
you think he is.
I love that trip.
Tom, I photoshopped you in. Ever since we got to this house, things have felt off.
If you can't trust me, maybe our relationship isn't strong enough.
I've been informed that you've been experiencing paranoid delusion.
From your file, I didn't think you'd make it past the first week.
That's a weird, like, modernist
No,
bookcase.
it wasn't real.
I was with you.
Don't tell me to calm down. She's manipulating us.
You're the one running away, not me!
The emotional acting is very intense.
I love you.
Yeah, it looks like those scenes were a part of the movie, so I was right. Oh, that's kind of a creepy little underline. Who would take part in a study like that? And I'm sure probably it does happen. They're studying your brain. Doesn't this seem a bit invasive? Like, get out of my head. Yes, there's several dopamine hits. Or is it dope? I don't know exactly. But yes, I'm in love. Get your hands out of my brain. But you're like, well, you know, we need the money. We're a new couple. $50,000 sounds great. Is it really? I don't know. I mean, if you're experiencing like paranoid delusion from a hologram, it might not play out well for you. Well, I don't know. She could be trying to mess people up. I mean, this is like a big experience. The emotional acting on the one guy's part. I mean, I couldn't speak as well for the woman, but hers was great. But they focused specifically on Thomas Jacobs' character. Well, the character Thomas Jacobs, I should say. That's not the actor's name. Although, again, it looks like there are some scenes here that are going to be not for me. I don't like watching them. Again, you can tell me two characters are in love without actually showing me rather graphic evidence of that. Just food for thought. I've said this how many times before. I'm like, well, if I'm going to watch this movie, I'm going to be fast-forwarding for a little bit, it seems. So, I'll be looking at a content review ahead of time. Again, the premise is interesting. And like I said earlier, you know, because I literally thought about that as I was, you know, making clear about, like, what this type of premise actually makes me think about. The lockdowns are not benefited really anybody, at least in terms of the domestic abuse rates. That was true, that they just shot up. I mean, that's a horrible cost to it. And if you're somebody that, you know, was in that position, reach out to somebody that you trust, get a sense of personal safety. And I understand, you know, it is a very difficult situation because you're dealing with, like, the job closures and all that. Make sure you maintain a sense of safety. Do not let yourself be put at risk like that. But, you know, I want to be very clear. I was not trying, if anybody has been in that situation, I do not in any way want to delegitimize that. But I was trying to put it in the perspective of people, you know, who it's like, well, traditionally, you know, like, you're madly in love. And let's say, you know, it's a good relationship. I've heard stories about people that are are getting a little too much of one another. You know, it's like after a while you get kind of cranky. You're like, I want an escape and there's nothing. We're at home and we're stuck here. But if you were in a situation that was harmful to you, of course, you know, go seek safety, seek a professional that will help you through that circumstance. And if you need to, you know, find that escape. Absolutely. Or, you know, don't put yourself into this type of situation if this is detrimental, which I would assume for probably most people, everybody would find this detrimental across the board. I mean, a scientific group studying you for, again, what's the purpose of the study? What's the purpose of it? Just to get an understanding of, like, the honeymoon phase? I don't know. But it doesn't seem like it's be playing out well. Let's put it that way. So, what are your thoughts on the honeymoon phase? Again, this can bring up a whole bunch of a temporary conversation because, again, of the release date. It just seemed fitting. Feel free to let me know what your thoughts are down below. Never forget to like stuff, like, and share that bell. Of course, as I said, if I'll be watching, I'll be looking at content review because what I did notice, which was also brought up in that trailer, I guess I was right, was kind of graphic. So, I don't want to sit through that necessarily. Well, again, though, the premise was interesting. And I think, you know, by and large, it actually looked good. But whatever film we get to look at together next for the first time. I'll see you guys at that point. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Remember, there's always a fellow man. God bless and peace.